Robert, welcome to the show. My name is Zach. I'm a senator within the College of IS&T within student government. Can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Robert Badura. My pronouns are he, him, his. I'm currently a fourth year. I'm majoring in communications and poli-sci, as well as my minors are leadership and public policy and LGBTQ/gender studies. And I'm running to be your next student body president.
Cool. So we've had Cecily and we've had Ishani on, so you'll be the third one to help bring in some more perspective to what they've talked about. So these will all be posted in order. So
Okay.
I recommend people don't just jump to this one.
Yes.
I'm assuming the presidential videos will have the most views.
Okay.
But I recommend that they go to the other ones first.
For context.
For context, because there will be some things that they talk about that you won't, because we don't have the time. So let's go back into your history, like what you were like in elementary school, middle school, high school.
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Omaha, Nebraska, and I stayed in Omaha throughout, until now. So my elementary school and middle school and high school, all done in Omaha. I went to a small Catholic school for both my elementary school and high school experience. I went to St. Bernard's Catholic School. It's in Benson. Cute little brick Catholic school. Is really from kindergarten through 8th grade, and then from freshman year to senior year of high school, I went to Roncalli Catholic High School. So also kind of a smaller school by Emmanuel Hospital, so up near Swanson Parkway. I don't know. I feel like I've kind of been the same, which kind of sounds not great because growth, right? But I've always been like a type A type person, and I think elementary school and middle school, I didn't know where that energy was coming from, but I think now I know it's like, okay, type A, maybe there's a little ADHD in there. I got to focus this energy into something more productive, and I think that was just getting more involved. And I think going to two small schools really instilled in me like the love for community and love for my school spirit, and I think that's just kind of stayed with me up until UNO, and that's why I love UNO so much. So yeah, background.
Cool. What type of stuff were you involved in as far as like extracurriculars or sports before college?
So I did everything I could possibly do. So in middle school and elementary school, I guess more so middle school, I was in basketball, soccer. My dad was the basketball coach, so I did basketball. I was a great, it's like the middle person that stands in the way of
center.
Yeah. I was one of the best centers. Almost fouled out of every game. So if that tells you how good I was, I don't know. But
at least aggressive.
Sure. I was really good though. I thought maybe I could never shoot a 3-throw, but I was really good. Anyways, so I did soccer and basketball up until high school. And then in middle school, I did, we had like student council in middle school, really no power, just more so for fun. I did yearbook in middle school. I did plays, theater. And then in high school, I joined the tennis team. So I was on tennis for my freshman year, had a blast. But then I found out I hate sports and getting sweaty. So I kind of stayed within the school. I did yearbook again. I was yearbook editor-in-chief for 2 years. I did student council. I was National Honor Society president for a while. Theater again, plays. I branched out to do theater at Mercy because they needed boys. So I'd audition to be the male parts in those, and I did that. So that was all 4 years. So a bunch of variety of things, and I think I've did too much at sometimes, and I think I learned that I don't have to put everything on my plate. Sometimes I can just be like, okay, I'll let someone else do that, or I don't have to do everything. Have I stuck with that lesson? Not necessarily, but I think up until college too, I've really enjoyed everything I've gotten able to do, and I think again that type A personality, wanting to do it, wanting to be involved, has really stayed with me. So still involved in college.
Yeah. Have you had any like pivotal moments before college that helped shape you as like a leader or a person or anything like that?
I don't know if there's any particular moment, but I think I'm an only child. So I grew up real fast with my parents, and then also learning to like share and be around like other kids my age to be like, hey, I also live my life too. And I'm not knowing like sibling dynamics was something I didn't know. So I think my friends really helped me grow into the person I am. And I think just experience wise doing those things And coming from like, I don't know how to like compromise because I never had to worry about compromising. I never had to share my opinion was the only opinion. So going into like middle school and I would say high school is where I really learned that like compromise and working together is far more important than going at it alone. So I would probably say a pivotal moment is one that I remember right now is in yearbook. I was editor-in-chief my junior year, and we had someone to check the names of all the seniors who were graduating so they were spelled correctly. Well, that person did not check all of the names, and one of the names was misspelled. And I think realizing that I let such a big, I won't say chore, job, responsibility on one person, and we didn't do it together was huge. And I think if we would have worked at it together, whether that's just myself and that person, or if it was the whole team, because there was about 10 of us, I think we would have found that. And I think realizing that mistakes sometimes happen, but at the same time, that mistake was printed and then given to however many students were graduating. And I felt really bad for that one student who had their name misspelled. So I think from that moment on, which sounds really cheesy, but like going at it from like team perspective and finding people's talents and strengths, because at the end of the day, that person was not the best speller. They just got that position, but they were great at graphic design. So if we would have been like, hey, maybe you're a graphic designer and not our spell check person, that would have been really helpful. And I think I carried that, I don't want to say lesson, but that kind of mentality up until now where it's all a team. This is a community working together for the same goal. Let's put people's talents and their strengths into positions that they can utilize them versus I'm not a great spell check person either. So I'm not going to spell check people's names or edit people's papers, but what I can do is help find the people that can. So maybe that, I don't know if that really answered your question, but maybe that was pivotal.
That's good. Yeah, being an enabler is what it sounds like. You learn what to do, enable people to do their best work, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty important. And as a leader, yeah, you can't delegate. You could delegate the task, but you can't delegate the responsibility. If they mess up. So, yeah, that's a lesson I also learned, in an unfortunate way.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we'll move on into college.
Yep.
So when you're going into college, was it just like a no-brainer that I'm going to go to college, or did you actually have to think about it, or how did that work?
It wasn't more so like a no-brainer. Like I knew I wanted to go to college. Where was kind of like that. Where was I going to go was the decision I was making. And it was kind of between UNO and there's a school in Kansas. It's called Baker University. I fell in love with Baker because I went to small schools my whole entire life. Mm-hmm. And Baker University was basically like that small school college. It gave me that private Catholic school vibe that I knew and loved my whole entire life. And then it was between UNO. UNO is the biggest school I've ever been a part of, ever seen, ever knew. So it was a really tough decision. I think it kind of came down to I wanted to spend more time with my family, which sounds crazy. I'm an only child. I spent my whole entire life with them. But I've also lived my whole entire life with them. So I thought it'd be really crazy to leave for these 4 years. You know, fortunately it worked out because of COVID. So I didn't have to move back home and deal with all that stress and that overwhelmingness. So I kind of stayed in my bubble. But my parents also went to UNO. So I'm a legacy is what they call it, I think. So that was also kind of helpful. But I'm really grateful for UNO. I think that it is that kind of big school. I don't say medium school. Now, after my 4 years, I realized that UNO is this very small college. But when I was coming into college, UNO was a big school. And I wanted to let it have the opportunity and that chance to like develop me more as a person, learn life skills, become the adult I wanted to be. So yeah, it was never a choice between going to college or not. It was where I was going to go. And so I ended up choosing UNO, and I am forever grateful to be a Maverick.
Yeah. So what was your first semester like?
First semester. So let's go all the way back. 2019. I would say it was very similar to high school. I took it as I'm in high school. I need to go to class, do my extracurriculars, go home. But it was nothing like that, right? I didn't have a 9 a.m. class up until 3 p.m. My classes were like 10 to 11:15 and then 2 to 3:45. So I had these breaks and I had these opportunities not to go to class. And I think that mind shift of like, I need to be responsible for my own time versus having a schedule curated for me that just allows me to go to class to class to class. So it was a difficult transition, but I think that first semester was really pivotal to be like, I can manage my own time. I'm responsible for my own activities. I can do these things. And I think it really helped me grow into the academic I am now. So yeah, first semester was tough. Because also I didn't know where to like join these organizations. There was no like sign up here, do this. There was kind of just like on your own, and like orientation was really confusing. So I was like, oh my God, what should I join? And nothing was similar to what I did in high school because they're all different names and they all did different things. So then I was like, okay, good. What is this? Maverick Productions. What is this? Oh, it's events. I love events. So then I applied to be a coordinator for Maverick Productions. I did an interview. It was really scary. It was my first in-person interview with 4 upperclassmen, and it was really daunting and terrifying. Turned out to be really great friends of mine. Got the position. I'm a part of Maverick Productions. Okay, what's next? What can I do next? Oh my God, student government. I want to be a part of student government. I loved student council when I was in high school and middle school. Well, you can't just be a student government senator. You have to be FY. At the time, it was first year leadership committee. FYC. FLC? FLC. It was a different name than what it is now.
Yeah.
So I went out for that. And Jabin Moore was the president at the time. Or not the president, but maybe the person in charge of that committee. So he's the one that chose who was in FLYC. A lot of acronyms. And I didn't get it. And I was devastated. I was like, oh my God, why didn't I get it? I am this perfect A student who did all these things in high school and middle school. I'm like a perfect candidate. But I think this is probably not a question that you just asked, but that was another pivotal moment for me to recognize I don't need to be involved in everything, but also I need to prove this person wrong. So I spent my whole entire freshman and sophomore year proving Jabin wrong, that I deserve to be in this committee, working on all the various things UNO related. And then I applied and ran to be elected my sophomore year. I got my senatorship position for the College of CFAM. So I did that. I felt like I proved him wrong. I was like, you know what you did to me? And he was like, yeah, I did it on purpose. I wanted to challenge you to do something more than just what you've said you've done. So I've tried other things I liked and didn't like. I got involved in things, kind of dropped out if I didn't have that same passion. So I already forgot your question. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. The questions are meant to like prompt conversation, not just be like a back.
Okay.
Because you guys already had the debate.
Yes.
I don't want this to be like a debate.
I'm like, what am I talking about? And then I forgot. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So you got involved.
Yes.
So he actually told you why he didn't select you?
It was more so not like he was like, this is the reason why. I think it was more so it was a challenge. Because again, maybe he was just talking out of his ass. But it challenged me. I was really, that was the first time I didn't get something in my life. As an only child and then being so involved, it was the first time that someone told me no. In that type of way. And I know that sounds really spoiled. But I was like, oh my God, why? Like, what? My whole worldview shattered. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm worthless. I can't do anything. So then I put all my energy into like these other organizations like Maverick Productions. I started the men's volleyball club team with some of my friends. I was on the Gateway. I did opinion pieces. So I got involved in various aspects, put my heart and soul into those projects, really loved what I was doing. And then when it came time to take destiny into my own hands by running to be elected, I said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get elected. I'm going to prove him wrong. I got elected. I was like, look what I'm doing. I'm doing all these crazy things. And then I became a chair of one of our committees at the time, did that, poured my heart and soul into it. Junior year, same thing, did the chairs, did the committees, did all the things, poured my heart and soul into it. And I'm like, I just proved you wrong. I just did what you thought I couldn't do. And maybe it was more of a one-sided battle where I felt like I was proving him wrong and he was like, oh, you still think about that? Because I totally forgot. But it really, like I said, it kind of just shifted my whole worldview, and like being told no and going into a different direction like really helped me branch out. If I was told if Jabin gave me that opportunity, I would never have done the volleyball. I would have never done the Gateway. I probably would have never done Maverick Productions to its fullest extent. And now sitting here, I'm the president of Maverick Productions. So looking back, it was a great lesson, right? It was a great opportunity. But in the moment, I was like devastated. If I could go back and tell that freshman year Robert, I would slap him and be like, shut up. You're going to have so many opportunities. You'll be okay. Like, take a breath. So yeah, I guess it just depends on like how you look at it. And I think how I'm looking at it now is more of like a teaching opportunity or a lesson. Again, maybe it's just Jabin has no idea what I'm talking about. If I mentioned to him, he probably would never remember. But it stuck with me and I remember it, and it got me to this point now. So
Yeah. There's sometimes when you fail and you're like, this is crushing. Because, like,
Yes.
we're young people and we haven't really experienced a whole lot that the world has to offer
Yes.
outside of just, like, our 13 years of school, plus, like, preschool and all that different stuff. So, yeah, facing a firm obstacle that you get, like, punched in the face and you have to reckon with it. Some people are like, this is terrible. I hate, like, some people would have taken
Yeah.
like that L and would have like hated that individual and been like, you're wrong. I'm better. I should have done this. And then like they could have gotten worse, but you took
Yeah.
it as like motivation or fuel to get better. And I
Yeah.
think that's the right way of
Yeah.
tackling those type of things.
And at the time, I didn't think about that. At the time, I'm like, I'm just doing this as a revenge and spite. Like, look at me do all these things. And it was really like a different mindset. But now that you say that, yeah, I think that's kind of what I look at about it now. 3-4 years of distance from that. So at the time, it was very much like, type of thing. But now I'm like, okay, it was a good opportunity.
Yeah, it's always learning opportunities. That's how I try and phrase, I guess, quote unquote, failures
Yeah.
as learning opportunities. As long as you like get back up and try again, you
Exactly.
don't really fail.
Exactly.
So it was just attempt number 1. Is
Yes.
what it was.
Yes.
On to attempt number 2. Okay, so you were involved in a lot your freshman year. How was your mental health?
My mental health, I think, was fine. I think I never really talked about mental health up until, I would say, after COVID. I would say that first semester back from that COVID era of like Zoom is when I start to realize, oh my God, I have mental health. I got to take care of my mental health. I have to realize what this is. Mm-hmm. So I was on go mode from elementary school up until COVID. My whole entire life, no stopping, going right through. I can't stop. If I stop, something's going to happen. When COVID happened, it allowed me the opportunity to, which is extremely privileged to say, allowed me the opportunity to take a break and really just kind of relax and not go on 100 every single day. Because I would wake up and I'm at home. What am I going to do? What's 100 that I can do? Clean the house? That only goes so far. So I think that I was probably, again, it sounds really privileged, but in the best mental state I've ever been while in COVID, because I was allowing myself to breathe. I was allowing myself to not go on 100. After COVID, that kind of first semester back, I was in person classes since my freshman year. So it was a while of like not having interaction with people in a classroom setting. I wanted to go again on 100. And my body was like, you can't do this. And I think that really put a toll on me. I think I, again, didn't know what the words were or didn't know how to handle it. Luckily, I have a great support system with my friends and my family, so they were able to kind of assist me through that like dark time after COVID. But again, I don't think it was until this past year, I would say, when was this? I don't want to say last semester. My second semester, my junior year, I was like, I need help. This is not normal. Why am I feeling stressed? Why am I feeling anxious all the time? Is this, oh my God, what am I doing wrong? And then I was like, I need to talk to someone. So I finally took that leap, that kind of like courageous leap of talking to like my physician. And he was like, I think you have like anxiety. Sounds like you're like something. So I went to a therapist. I talked to them. I was like, what can I do to be better? Like, this cannot be normal, feeling this way. And they're like, you've been this way your whole life. What's changed now? I'm like, it was that break. It was that year and a half where I didn't feel like I had to do it, that I recognized that this was an issue. For 20 some years, I was living my life on this go mode. And then I took a break for a year and was like, this is what life is supposed to be? I'm supposed to be calm? I'm not supposed to be stressed all the time? So then, yeah, then I got help. And then it was just talking to people. It was being like, hey, this is important. How can I fix it? What can I do to improve? And I think now I'm, again, in a great mindset of like, I don't have to go on 100 every single time. I can take breaks. I can say I need a mental health day. I can cool down. I can calm down, relax, breathe. And again, still lucky that I have that great support system in my roommates, my friends, and my family. So just, again, chilling out. And I think it's important for everyone, wherever you are in your stage of life, to recognize that not everything is 100% go mode. You can take times where it's only 10% or 50%, and you'll be better off.
Why were you on go mode? Was that like from external pressures, or was that from you just like your goals or like your personality, or like why do you think it was?
I don't know. I've been, again, extremely lucky. My parents are not pressure parents. Like, they are like, do what makes you happy, do what you love. So I think it was myself. I think I was putting myself in this kind of pressure cooker of like, I need to do this. I need to achieve things. Again, not sure where it's coming from. I'm an only child. I've never had to compete for anything. Like, so I'm not sure where this is coming from. And I think, again, it was recognizing that's not how everyone feels. That's not something that you should feel every single time. Like, this is not what a 12-year-old should be feeling. They need to be on a go mode. So I think it was just anxiety, and whatever that looked like was in the form of like, if I stop, something bad's going to happen. So I need to continue to go full speed so nothing can stop me. And I don't know where it came from. I still deal with it today. And again, I'm lucky enough to talk to people and recognize, oh my God, that's not something I should be doing. Or like recognize those intrusive thoughts. It's like, you're a failure if you don't go out for this position, or if you don't do this, you're a failure. No, I need to take a break. I want a Saturday to myself type of thing. So yeah, I think it was just what I put on myself. Not sure why, but that's just what your brain does to yourself, right? In those times. So yeah.
It's all a mind game.
Yes, exactly.
So this is your senior year?
So this would be my 4th year. So I'll be what they call super senior, because I'll be here for 5 since I'm dual majoring with communications and poli-sci. So yes, it's technically my senior year, but it's 4th year.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
So you like worked your way up within. Okay, so in your first semester, you were involved in like a whole bunch of different clubs.
Yep.
Right now, you're in WGEC as a board member, correct?
Yep.
How'd you get involved with that?
So the Women and Gender Equity Center is an agency, a part of student government, which you know.
Yeah.
And last year you're not allowed to be in the rules. There's like a limitations article in our bylaws that states that you can't be like the president of Maverick Productions and also a senator.
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't run to be in student government. So I'm like, what can I fill my time that I feel is benefiting the community in a way that is making me feel good, but also is making UNO feel good? My roommate at the time, Kelsey Lowe, shout out to her, she wanted to be on WGC, the Women and Gender Equity Center board. And I was like, well, I want to do that too. I was like, because I was afraid that only like women or people who identify as a woman or women identifying people could do it. So I'm like, maybe I'm not allowed to. So then I filled it out. I was like, I understand if this is something I'm not allowed to do, since I don't have these same issues that women face, but I do relate to the gender equity part of the Women and Gender Equity Center. So I filled it out, it got on, and then that's what I did this past year. That was kind of my student government in. I was still a part of student government as a whole, as part of the association, but I wasn't like the people who were saying yes or no to resolutions. I felt like I was doing a lot of community work, like with the Big O campaign, with QTS, the Queer and Trans Services Agency. We have this campaign that's done, I would say, every other week. There's a schedule. I don't know off the top of my head, but it provides like sexual health resources. There's stickers, there's pronoun pins, there's pamphlets. I felt like I was doing so much more in that little time frame than I was as a senator who was like trying to fix the rules. I'm like, that's not something that I personally like. I like to be working with the community in a way that benefits both them and myself. And I felt like that was a great opportunity that I took. And I think I'm grateful that I wasn't able to be a senator. I think that I had more fun maybe than as I am now as a board member. And I think, again, we have Take Back the Night, actually Thursday, which is like a sexual assault awareness walk. It's a march. So I'm really looking forward to that. I think that'll be really fun. And just a great like community building activity and kind of event. So again, I think it kind of boils down to, I feel like I had more of a community outreach aspect. Like I was able to get in front of students like, hey, we have this resource. Do you know about this resource? Instead of just kind of sitting behind, those student government walls and be like, I'm helping you, but I don't really see the effects. Whereas the agencies are able to really see the help that they do.
Yeah. So 4 out of the 6 people in these tickets are WGEC board members.
Yep.
So that seems to be a popular thing.
Yes.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
In other episodes, I think they go into more detail about WGEC, so you don't have to like go all in. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just curious because I was looking on your guys' social media page and it said that you were in it. So
Yeah.
I wanted to allow you to give that background.
Yeah.
Okay, so you becoming the leader of Mav Pro, what is leading that organization like?
Yeah, so I kind of start, like I said, freshman year. I joined Maverick Productions. I was an event coordinator, so it's kind of like a general member, but we were the ones that are like planning the events. So I was that, and then I kind of got thrown into the vice president of finance position. They didn't have anyone. I was like, I'm sort of interested. They're like, you got it. It's yours. I'm like, oh my God, I'm a sophomore. I have no idea what Excel spreadsheets are and all these numbers. What's a reserve account? Like, I had no idea what any of this was. Then junior year, I was like, I like this. Let me continue to do it. I have an impact. I'm helping Maverick Productions build a foundation that's strong and can last. And then I ran this past year to be president because I love Maverick Productions so much. I love what we do. I love what we get to do. I love the people. Again, I love the community. I love our events. So it was kind of like that natural progression of like, this is what I want to do next. And leading Maverick Productions this past year has been challenging at times because I've never had to fully lead an organization. I've always worked underneath or with somebody else. So stepping into an organization structure where it's like it's only the president doing these things was daunting. So I was like, this is not the case. I don't like that. I don't like this hierarchical structure where it's the president, the VPs, directors, and then general members. I hated how that felt. I was like, no, you're not beneath me or underneath me or whatever. You don't work for me. We're working together. So my first semester as president was really working towards rearranging the structure. So it wasn't this hierarchical, this step type thing. You're underneath me, that type of thing. I really wanted to work where it's on an even playing field. We're working together. The event coordinators are planning the events. The directors are assisting them in their specialized areas. The vice presidents are allowing them to do what they need to do while also working to either promote via social media or help with the numbers. And I am an advocate for them to administration and also just connecting everyone together. So I really worked to make it more of a community-based organization and have it be filled with more of like, I say compassion and empathy a lot, but like compassion for one another. No one's beneath you. No one's higher up than you. We just were elected to help navigate and kind of guide this organization. And now this second semester, I'm able to more so build a stronger foundation, whether that's, having more members apply, or if that's telling them, hey, you are going to be a great vice president, or you should run for president. Building that foundation so when I leave and I'm no longer part of UNO, it lasts. Because my biggest fear, and I've talked to my advisor about this, is if I leave, what happens after? And again, that's my anxiety and that's my like, oh my God, what if type of thing. So I want to leave these organizations I'm a part of with a foundation that they can succeed on their own. And that's not saying that they can't. Again, that's just my anxiety that I feel. So just leaving in a place that allows others to succeed is the ultimate goal for me. Is how can I make an organization that we work together? It's a community, not this hierarchical, whatever it is, dictatorship. Let's make it into something fun, something that we get to enjoy to do because we're not paid. We're doing this because we like to plan events, or we like to be in a community, or like to be in an organization that affects UNO's campus. Mm-hmm. So making it fun, making it enjoyable. What are you passionate about type of thing? Like, what event do you want to plan? How can we make that happen? And I think if elected, I would not have to worry about Maverick Productions next year. I think I have left a legacy of, again, what can we do together? What are you passionate about? How can we achieve that together? So, yes.
Okay. So, all right, we'll start going into your guys' campaign.
Yes.
There's more I want to dig into, but
okay.
Maybe for another episode. But yeah, we'll start going to the campaign. Yes. So when did this thought of the okay. I knew it began in winter break because that's what Ishani said in episode 1. Okay. And you reached out to Ishani first, I believe.
Yep.
And then you guys started getting the ball rolling, and then you're like, we need to find a third. And then you guys went to Cecily. Was Cecily like the first one you guys reached out to, and then she was solid, or did you guys like field other people?
Yeah, I think it was fielding other people. Ishani and I worked with Ishani before, and I really liked how she handles herself and is able to conduct business. And I told Ishani from the start, I don't want a team of yes people. I want a team that's going to challenge each other. I don't want a team that's going to say yes to everything that I say. I want a team that challenges me and develops me as a person. Because I don't want to ever be in a room where I'm the smartest or everyone's saying yes to me. I want to be challenged. I want to grow. So I told her from the start that we need to find somebody that challenges us as a group, but also challenges us as individuals. So we kind of fielded other people. Kind of with the way that this year was going about, we had more time. It wasn't until April that we had to worry all about this stuff. So we kind of had January and February to kind of field things and feel things out. And then I was like, I know Cecily. We're in Maverick Productions together. She's my roommate's best friend. I love her. How can we work together in a way? So I was like, hey, have you ever thought about student government? And she's like, no, I haven't. And I was like, oh my God, let me talk to you about it. So Shani and I kind of talked to her about student government. Not really not seeing if she was interested, more so like, maybe you want to do something in the future type of thing. And it wasn't until we were like, no, you'd be a great chief of staff. Like, you don't worry about not knowing anything about student government. That's a benefit to us. That is a bonus. You have this outside perspective. You have this fresh, new set of ideas. You're part of this. The majority of students have no idea about student government. So you are coming in with a new, fresh eyes, a better perspective. How can we relate to you, to your audience of students who don't know what student government is? So once I kind of broke that down for her, I'm like, give it a week. Feel it out. Like, just think about it. Think about saying yes. Think about saying no. How is it going to affect you from a year from now? So she thought about it. She gave me an hour. She gave me like a response very quickly. And she was like, I'm in. And I don't know where I was, but I was like, oh my God, yes. Oh my God, I have a great team. I'm so excited. This is going to be so fun and so energizing. And so I was like, oh my God, yes, the team's coming together. So after that, we kind of sat down and was like, this is kind of where I'm thinking. This is kind of the idea that I had going into this year. How do you feel? Do we need to change something? Is there something that you're more passionate about? So I kind of think our 3 pillars, prioritize, harmonize, and maximize, really fits well with who we are as people. I think Ishani is really all about harmonizing, whether that's fixing student government's internal organization and relationship with each other, but also kind of connecting Scott and Dodge campuses. She's very passionate about that. Maximize for Cecily, all about highlighting the free resources to students that most students don't know about. Also CAPS, the counseling and psychological services, how we can better utilize that and kind of maximize that for students. And then for me, prioritizing, I'm all about kind of working with the current student body and making sure that they have a great experience. So it really worked out that all 3 of us liked our goals and we kind of felt pulled to each pillar. Not to say that I don't like harmonize and maximize. I love those, right? We work on it together. But I definitely feel like Ishani and Cecily have a better relationship with harmonize and maximize, because we have a different outlook, right? I'm a 4th year going to my 5th year. Ishani is a current senator, and Cecily's never had to deal with student government. So these kind of 3 different perspectives really works together to make this really great team. And again, we're not all yes people. We challenge each other. There's things that I say that Cecily's like, let's reword that, or hey, maybe that's not the best way to say that. And then same thing with Ishani. They're like, she's like, I want to do this. I'm like, that's great, but how do we make it so it's better? So it's like, again, we're challenging each other constantly. I have never been in a group that has had so many ideas and in a constant form of like, how can we achieve them in a way that is not just benefiting student government, but the community, as in the Mavericks, as UNO's community. So I'm very grateful for Ishani and Cecily, and I'm really excited, and I hope and pray, right, fingers crossed, that we're able to bring these goals and initiatives into full effect. You know, if elected or not, like, I think we're all in agreement that even if we're not elected, we want to do something to prioritize the students today, harmonize our community, and then maximize student potential. Like, we still want to do something along those lines, and whether that's staying in Maverick Productions or WGEC board member or whatever that looks like, still doing something that kind of connects those goals to kind of what we want to bring. So either way, we'll be involved. It's just how we get to do it will be the question.
Cool. Can you, for people that are unfamiliar, I think I
Yes.
had Hakeem do this. can you define what your role would entail as like the president slash like student regent?
Yeah, so I'm not great with like formal definitions. My definition is that like the student regent and student body president. So the student body president kind of has two roles. One of those roles is to be the leader, quote unquote leader, for the student body of UNO. So advocate for senators, advocate for students, be the liaison between administration and the student body. So really working together to achieve goals with administration. We'd be working really closely together. And then as far as the regent side of the student body president slash regent, we'd be sitting on the board, or the president slash regent would be sitting on the board of regents for the NU system, which is like a whole like electoral, they get elected, their districts and everything. But the college regents are all from like UNL, UNK, UNMC, and UNO. They're non-voting members to my recollection, but they're able to voice concerns and advocate on behalf of the Nebraska students, but also specifically their college. So I think it's, again, you're just an advocate you're a vessel for these concerns. And so it really boils down to like championing the students of UNO towards the Nebraska system, the NU system, and then championing the students' concerns with administration. Is that the formal definition? Probably not. But that's kind of where I think the role of president is. I also think that that's more like digestible for like the students who don't know anything about student government. It's really just the student regent is there to be an advocate for you, and you're as a resource as well. Like, you elected me to voice your concerns. I may have my own concerns and agenda, but that means nothing if you don't have the same thing. So again, it's really taking the majority of students and those students who have these concerns or don't know where to go or where to turn to share their opinions and giving them an outlet type of thing.
Okay. So it's you, Ishani, and Cecily.
Yep.
You guys get working.
Yep.
You construct these 3 pillars. You construct some of your ideas. You guys eventually apply, which that was like 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact dates.
Yeah. And then what has campaign been like ever since it's been official and like you guys actually put in an application?
It's been fun. I've really enjoyed campaigning this year. I think, like I said, we've kind of been able to build a team that works together so nicely and has great ideas. And it kind of starts with the 3 of us, and then also recognizing that the senators are as important, if not more important, because they're the ones that are voting on certain resolutions. So working with senators to talk to them, be like, hey, what are you passionate about? What can we work together to achieve? Getting them to be a part of our coalition was huge. I think the team now, we have, 12 total senators. So almost half, maybe more than half that have applied to be a part of our coalition, which is huge. And I think, again, I love the idea of a coalition because it's, at the end of the day, yeah, you're voting for the executive ticket, but the senators are the ones who are making these decisions, who are voting on resolutions that directly affect the student body. So as an exec team within student government, I foresee the 3 of us as champions of senators. I see that I need to build confidence in senators. I see that I need to uplift senators to bring what they're passionate about and really achieve their goals. So again, it was mainly just talking to these senators to be like, hey, what do you want to get out of student government? How can we make it fun for you, rewarding for you, but how can we achieve those goals of whether it's public safety or if it's parking or if it's whatever it may be, how can we achieve those together? So yes, campaigning has been really fun. Our banner is actually hung up in Milo Bale Student Center. It's by the ATM, the First National Bank ATM. We'll have posters hung up in this week. We have t-shirts for our coalition. I'm really excited to hand those out. We have stickers. I've never had my face on a sticker before, so it was really crazy to see my face on a sticker. So yeah, it's really fun. I've also loved doing the social media. We don't have a campaign manager, so it's just the 3 of us kind of throwing ideas back and forth, and making our campaign social media was really fun, and I've really enjoyed using Canva Pro.
Yeah. Why do you guys not have a campaign manager? Is it just like you guys didn't feel the need, or? Yeah,
I think it was more so we didn't feel the need. I think it's not saying that people who have a campaign manager there's nothing against it. If we had one, it'd be fun too. I just think that the 3 of us, we kind of just didn't need one. We're all kind of tech savvy. Let's do this together. It's fun. We're learning. So yeah, it was more so just let's learn together. And I think it really allowed us to connect our ideas more closely. I don't feel like if we had a campaign manager, I think we'd be like funneling our ideas or filtering them through that campaign manager. Whereas I think we're able to really voice what we want. We get to have access to the story. I can post boomerangs. I can post, oh my God, check out the banner. Or I can post, oh my God, we're at this super fun event. Come see this event. So again, there's no issue with or without. I just think that we've had more fun.
Okay, cool. So let's start going into some of the different, I guess, policies and things that you guys are going to be doing. Like I said, I don't know if we were recording or probably not. But the other two folks, they mentioned a decent amount already. So, I mean, it's up to you on if you want to repeat some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that was not mentioned yet, at least based off my recollection, is the town hall.
Yeah.
But all the other stuff has been mentioned.
Okay.
So, yeah, anything as far as like what you guys are trying to accomplish, go ahead and speak about it.
Yeah. So the project initiatives that we have are really centered around the current student body. All of these projects and initiatives are things that we foresee happening if elected in this year that we have. So one of the big ones was a monthly town hall. Currently, kind of the situation is set up for town halls is after something bad happens or kind of like after Sodexo, right? It's kind of just like thrown in your face, like how can we save face type of thing.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's through anyone's fault. I just think that was a mindset that we need to shift. So going into student government, if elected, we want to really highlight the transparency and accountability that we want to hold. So monthly town halls would allow for students to hold us accountable as an exec ticket, but also as senators. Hold all of us accountable to achieve the goals that we talked about. And it would also allow greater opportunity for students to speak to their student government. It kind of highlights that point of they get to know who our senators are. They get to know what the Student Government Association does for them. So it's really about connecting the student body with student government. Excuse me. So monthly town halls would ideally achieve that. So with town halls, we also want to do like more social media presence. Right now it's kind of really branded, and that's a great thing, right? That's how you get a brand out. But it's hard to really relate to a really branded and graphic heavy social media. That's just how it is. I relate more to students. I relate more to hearing what they have to say. I relate more to seeing pictures of the student body. So with that, with the monthly town halls and holding us more accountable and transparent, the social media would allow for greater outreach and connectiveness. So having a social media that students want to tune into, having a social media that students want to like, oh my God, what did the student government post today? Like I want to create some sort of like intimacy with the student body of like, Zach, you're going to be talking like, what are you passionate about? And you'd be filmed or something. It'd be like 30-second clip, those reels, right?
Yeah.
So just exploring more of what social media has to offer. If that's diving more into Instagram and how to make it more personable, if that's creating a TikTok, just something to make the students more engaged with us is great. And then that will then inherently feed into more participation, more voter turnout, more discourse, more conversation, more things that students can be like, hi, I know who my senators are. I've told them about this. They haven't done anything. Great. Let's figure out why. How can we bridge that divide and kind of do that? So that's kind of one of the points with the town halls. I know you said that Ishani and Cecily talked about the other projects and initiatives. So if there's anything else.
I mean, you can talk about them if you want to.
Okay.
I'm just letting you know.
Yes.
So then, like, you don't talk about those and then not talk about something
else.
that they didn't talk about. But yeah, they talked a lot about the prioritize. They talked about the harmonize, about enabling senators to, as far as like leadership and building leaders.
Yeah.
Can you? Okay, so right now within student government, there's with the Sodexo.
Sodexo, I think. How do you say it?
I don't know how to pronounce
the
it.
food people.
Yeah, the food people. With that situation going on recently within the student government, the vibe is not really too warm towards the administration.
Yeah.
Because of that event and then an event in the fall. And some other minor, not minor events, but smaller scale events.
Yes.
So one, that could be discouraging to some individuals that your voice is being less heard.
Yeah.
And one of the things, I won't say their name, but in one of the meetings, and I guess no one will ever know because student government meetings are not recorded. So
Yeah.
only the people that were there will know
Yeah.
who I'm talking about. But they said that they've been at this university for some time now, and their voice has been heard. Like they feel like their voice is being heard less and less.
Yeah.
How would you like navigate that? Because I don't know if you feel that way currently, but I know if you got this position, you would definitely understand the sentiment that we feel.
Yeah.
So how would you navigate that in this place where it seems like they hear you out, but then based on actions, it doesn't. There's a disconnect. And you're supposed well, not you, but like the student government as a whole is supposed to be like the voice.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do you like navigate something like that?
Yeah, I would say it starts by first sharing that sentiment
Yeah.
that we don't feel like student government's being heard. We don't feel that the students are feeling heard. And at the end of the day, I don't think administration is there to hinder us or hurt us. I think that they just have a different mindset of they have to make UNO as profitable as possible, where a student government gets to work with students and understand what they need. And I think at the end of the day, the goal is the same: make UNO a great place for the student body. We have different ways to achieve that goal, but I think compromising and working together and sharing those sentiments and making sure our voices are heard, whether that's knocking on Chancellor Lee's door or that's picking up my phone to call her, just sharing those sentiments and making it very clear that, hey, right now administration's not doing a good job at showing support for the student body, whether that's coming to student government meetings to kind of share what they get to do, highlight the projects and initiatives that they're working on, showing them what we're doing. It's just about building relationships. And I think that one of my great skills and things that I really take pride in is I can build relationships. And I think that building relationships is the key to fixing a lot of our problems. If that's building a better relationship with administration, whether that's Kathy Pettit, Dustin Wolf, whatever it may be, these people who have positions to make students feel better and like have a more full-rounded college experience, working with them to be like, hey, these are the issues and I'm not sure why there's a disconnect. How can we fix this disconnect? Because at the end of the day, they don't want to have that disconnect. They also want to feel like they hear students. So why is there such a big issue? I don't know. But how can we work together to fix it? And I think that a big thing about Energize is we really just want to have those conversations. We want to be a part of those conversations. We want to allow students to be in those conversations. And it kind of circles back to those town halls. Not only will student government members be there, but administration will be there. They'll take part in those conversations. It'll be discussion. It won't be some sort of screaming match, or it won't be administration saying this is what's going to happen. It's going to be what can we do to be better? What can we be better students? How can we be better administration? How can we be better student government? So again, I think it just is building relationships and building connections. And it is a lot of networking, but fortunately for me, if I were elected, I already have a lot of relationships with a lot of the administration within student involvement, but also outside. I was on the Parking and Transportation Committee my 2 years in Senate, so I know that administration has a lot of issues too that they're working through, and whether that's internally, but that's also what they feel like. Parking is an issue that everyone says is bad. It's not just administration, or not just students, it's also administration. So finding the similarities and highlighting those versus these are our differences, let's not work together, is kind of the mindset that we're going in with. Is we're very similar. How can we achieve these goals in a way that benefits both of us, and figure out what is wrong with this disconnect? Like, you see it, I see it, how can we fix it, type of thing. So I don't know if that really answered it, but just really working with administration, highlighting those students' concerns, and just sharing that sentiment that you just said would be really key in like kind of fixing the overall issue.
Yeah, I want to put out there that I am not like trying to flame the administration.
No, you're good.
Or anything like that and saying that they're doing a terrible job doing what they're doing. I personally think that there's just like some sort of miscommunication going on. Like, I don't think that they would be doing anything in a way to like damage us, like damage the student body, because that would affect their money.
No, but I mean, it's good that students have this. It holds them accountable. It's important that we have like spaces or outlets to share these concerns, because it holds all of us accountable to make sure that we're achieving what the students want and what they elected us for. So it's not a bad thing that students are mad or upset. It's a good thing that they have these concerns. How can we take this and make it into an energy or something that is not controllable? What's the word? Productive. How can we take this anger and make it productive? So yeah, I think it's good that students have these concerns, and I think it's good that they're not shy about it. It's important that we share it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. We have 4 more minutes left for you. Is there anything that you would like to state? Because elections are next week.
Yes.
April 17th through 19th.
Yep.
I don't know the exact times, but there will probably be an email sent out to the whole student body.
There should be an email. Yes, there should be. Yes.
With all the time
Yes.
and date and whatnot.
Yep.
But you could do it online. I don't know if there's going to be polling locations on campus.
There will be. I think it's outside of Milo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. But yeah, all that information will probably be sent out sometime later this week.
Yep.
Hopefully. But yeah, is there anything that you would like to just close out with before we end this conversation?
Yeah, so this is my not so shameless Instagram plug. If you're not already following, please follow EnergizeUNO at EnergizeUNO. It's our social media platform for our campaign. It has all of kind of what we've talked about in this episode, but also in Ishani's and Cecily's episode. It has the senators that are working with us. It has their ideas and goals and passions. It has a little bit more information about the 3 of us, who you're electing. It also has our link tree, which takes you directly to the election information, which will have the voting information. So whatever we can make it as easy as possible for students to vote is important. It also has our Spotify playlist. So if you have Spotify, you can listen to that in the morning. What else does it have? It has our website. We made a fantastic website. So if you're interested in website stuff, if you click on that, it takes you directly there. It probably highlights more of our initiatives and kind of breaks down prioritize, harmonize, and maximize. Kind of shows you more in depth of the senators as well as us as exec ticket. So yeah, it's all on our Instagram at EnergizeUNO. I guess I want to end with, I'm excited for the opportunity to be the next Student Body President. I'm looking forward to that opportunity. And again, I really want to make a campaign and platform of accountability and transparency. So if I were elected, the 3 of us and so student government, we would have definitely a culture shift. I think there'd be a mindset shift that we would bring to student government that would allow students to feel more comfortable with their student government, more approachable, more connected, and I think would allow the senators to feel more confident in what they're achieving. So yes, please vote for EnergizeUNO on April 17th and 19th.
All right, cool. Well, thank you, Robert, for this conversation
Yes.
and for your time. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.